Attack on Titan Volumes 3 and 4, written and illustrated by Hajime Isayama. The survivors, including Captain Levi's squad, were reeling from the colossal Titan's attack and the devastating loss of their comrades. As they retreated, they were met with another horrifying sight. Titans had breached wall rows. More grotesque creatures flooded Trost District, adding to the existing chaos. Amidst the pandemonium, Eren found himself struggling to regain his bearings. Disoriented and missing his left arm, he was thrown into the heart of the battle. Surrounded by Titans, his memories of training and their desperate strategizing seemed futile. He watched in horror as his fellow recruits, those with whom he had shared dreams of freedom, were brutally killed. Overwhelmed by despair and driven by a primal instinct to survive, Eren made a vow. He would destroy every last Titan. In that moment, something incredible happened. Eren transformed into a Titan. His Titan form, although grotesque and seemingly mindless, began to attack other Titans. He tore them apart with savage ferocity, driven by an uncontrollable rage. He was a terrifying force of nature, but his attacks, however brutal, were inadvertently protecting his fellow soldiers. Meanwhile, Armin and Mikasa, separated from their squad, witnessed Eren's transformation with a mixture of horror and disbelief. They watched as his Titan form ripped through the streets, decimating other Titans. Mikasa, consumed by grief and believing Eren to be dead, prepared to fight to the death. Just as she was about to face a towering Titan, Eren's Titan intervened, brutally attacking the other Titan and unknowingly saving her. This shocking revelation ignited a glimmer of hope. Could this be their chance to turn the tide? With Eren clearing a path, they made their way to headquarters, where they were met with more disbelief and fear from the surviving soldiers. Armin, despite his own fears, took charge, his analytical mind working to devise a plan. Faced with a supply depot overrun by Titans, they resorted to a risky strategy. Using a lift to descend into the depot, they created a distraction with gunfire, allowing Mikasa to unleash a devastating attack, taking down several Titans with her exceptional skills. They secured the depot, but the battle for Trost was far from over. Eren's Titan form, a powerful yet unpredictable weapon, remained a mystery. At headquarters, Eren, now back in human form but with no memory of his transformation, found himself facing suspicion and hostility. The soldiers, led by a skeptical commander, saw him as a threat, a potential enemy. He was interrogated and threatened with cannons, his pleas of innocence falling on deaf ears. As tensions escalated, Eren experienced a series of flashbacks, fragmented memories of a mysterious injection, and his father's words, "If you want to save Mikasa, Armin, and everyone else, you'll have to." Suddenly, it all clicked. Eren remembered. His father had injected him with something that gave him the power to become a Titan. This revelation, however, did little to quell the soldiers' fears. They saw him as a monster, a danger to humanity. Just as they were about to execute him, Armin intervened, desperately trying to convince them that Eren could be their weapon against the Titans. Mikasa, fiercely protective of Eren, also stepped forward, ready to fight anyone who threatened him. In the midst of this standoff, Eren, remembering his father's words about a key and a basement, had another flashback. He saw his father again, urging him to remember the key and to reclaim Wall Maria. "Eren, never let this key out of your sight, and every time you look at it, remember." This flashback triggered a surge of emotion within Eren, and in that moment, his Titan form erupted once more, bursting from the building in a display of raw power. The soldiers at headquarters were stunned to see Eren emerge from his Titan form. He was weak, missing an arm, and had no recollection of what he had just done. Despite his confusion and pleas of innocence, the garrison saw him as a monster and prepared to execute him with their cannons. Armin and Mikasa jumped to his defense, desperately trying to convince the soldiers that Eren could be a valuable weapon against the Titans. As the standoff intensified, Eren experienced a flashback to his father, urging him to remember a key and to reclaim Wall Maria. This triggered another transformation, and his Titan form burst from the building in a shower of debris. The soldiers, terrified and confused, watched as Eren's Titan stumbled around, seemingly unable to control its movements. He swatted at the cannons aimed at him, unknowingly protecting himself from the barrage of artillery fire. Inside the Titan's skeletal form, Armin, Mikasa, and Eren were trapped in a sweltering fleshy cage. Eren, still overwhelmed by his fragmented memories and his inability to control his Titan form, despaired. He remembered his father's words about the basement of their old house and how it held the answers to everything. Could the information hidden there explain what the Titans are and how to defeat them? The garrison, momentarily stunned by Eren's sudden reappearance, resumed their attack. But just as they were about to fire another round, a new figure arrived on the scene. Commander Pixis, the highest-ranking commander of the Southern Territory. An eccentric and somewhat unorthodox leader, Pixis was intrigued by Eren's Titan form and saw potential in his power. He listened intently as Armin explained their desperate plan to use Eren to seal the hole in Walrose and retake Trost District. Pixis, despite the skepticism of his subordinates, agreed to hear them out. He recognized the desperation in their voices and the glimmer of hope that Eren's power represented. He ordered his men to hold their fire and gave Armin a chance to explain his strategy. Armin, with newfound confidence, laid out his plan. Eren, in his Titan form, would lift a massive boulder and carry it to the breached gate, sealing the hole and preventing further Titan incursions. This audacious plan, however, hinged on Eren's ability to control his Titan form, something he had yet to achieve. Pixis, despite the inherent risks, decided to gamble on Eren's potential. He ordered his troops to stand down and gave the young recruits a chance to prove themselves. Eren, fueled by his desire to protect his friends and reclaim Wall Maria, vowed to succeed, no matter the cost. As the plan was put into motion, the soldiers watched with bated breath. Could this reckless gamble actually work? Could Eren, a young recruit with a mysterious power, become humanity's last hope? As the survivors gathered at headquarters, Eren, weak and disoriented after his first transformation, faced immediate suspicion. The garrison soldiers, led by a grim commander, saw him as a potential threat, a monster in human form. They interrogated him aggressively, their fear and mistrust palpable. Eren, struggling to piece together his fragmented memories, could only offer confused denials. He remembered flashes of his father injecting him with something, his words echoing in his mind. If you want to save Mikasa, Armin, and everyone else, you'll have to. Just as the soldiers threatened to execute Eren with cannons, Armin and Mikasa desperately intervened. Armin, ever the strategist, argued that Eren's Titan form could be their weapon against the Titans. Mikasa, fiercely loyal, was ready to fight anyone who threatened Eren. Amidst the chaos, Eren had another flashback, this time of his father urging him to remember a key and to reclaim Wall Maria. This memory triggered a violent reaction. Eren's Titan form erupted once more, bursting from the building in a terrifying display of raw power. The soldiers, momentarily stunned, were forced to hold their fire as Eren's Titan stumbled about, swatting at the cannons aimed at him. Inside the Titan's fleshy cage, Eren, Armin, and Mikasa were trapped. Eren, overwhelmed by his fragmented memories and lack of control, despaired. He remembered his father's words about the basement of their old house, holding the answers to everything. Could the secrets hidden there explain what the Titans are and how to defeat them? As the garrison prepared to resume their attack, a new figure arrived on the scene, Commander Pixis, the eccentric and strategic leader of the Southern Territory. Intrigued by Eren's Titan form, Pixis saw potential in his power. He ordered his men to hold their fire and listened intently as Armin, with newfound confidence, presented a daring plan. Eren, in his Titan form, would lift a massive boulder and use it to seal the hole in Wall Rose, preventing further Titan incursions. This audacious plan, however, was a gamble, hinging on Eren's ability to control his unpredictable power. Pixis, recognizing the desperation of the situation and the faint glimmer of hope that Eren represented, decided to take the risk. He ordered his troops to stand down and gave the young recruits a chance to prove themselves. Eren, driven by his desire to protect his friends and avenge his mother, vowed to succeed, no matter the cost. As the plan was put into motion, the soldiers watched with a mixture of fear and anticipation. Could this desperate gamble actually work? Could Eren, a young recruit with a mysterious power, become humanity's last hope? The operation to retake Trost District began. With a squad of soldiers acting as escorts, Eren, in his human form, raced towards the breached gate. He was accompanied by Mikasa, Armin, and other recruits, their faces determined despite the overwhelming odds. As they navigated the Titan-infested streets, they faced constant threats, relying on their maneuver gear and combat skills to survive. Reaching the designated spot, Eren prepared for his transformation. He focused on his father's words, on the key, on the basement, on the burning desire to reclaim Wall Maria. And then, with a surge of power, he transformed into his Titan form. His Titan form, however, seemed different this time. Less wild, less erratic. He stumbled towards the massive boulder, his movements clumsy but purposeful. The soldiers watched, their hearts pounding with anticipation and dread. Could he actually lift it? Could he control his power? Inside the Titan's form, Eren struggled to maintain his focus. He was bombarded with fragmented memories, flashes of his past, his father's words, and the overwhelming desire to fight. He saw his mother's face, her terrified eyes, the grinning Titan that devoured her. Fueled by this rage and grief, he reached for the boulder, his massive hands gripping the rough surface. With a grunt of exertion, he lifted the boulder, the ground trembling beneath his weight. The soldiers cheered, their hopes renewed as Eren, carrying the massive boulder, lumbered towards the breached gate. He was their weapon, their shield, their last hope. But as he approached the gate, a new threat emerged. A horde of Titans, drawn to the commotion, converged on Eren's Titan form. The soldiers, outnumbered and outmatched, fought valiantly to protect Eren, their blades flashing against the Titan's grotesque forms. Mikasa, with exceptional skill and agility, sliced through the Titans with deadly precision, her movements a blur of motion. But even she couldn't hold them off forever. Eren, struggling to maintain control and fend off the attacking Titans, lost his focus. The boulder slipped from his grasp, crashing to the ground with a deafening thud. The operation, it seemed, had failed. The colossal Titan's attack on Trost District left the recruits scattered and disoriented. Mikasa, separated from her squad and believing Eren dead, fought with a desperate ferocity, taking down Titan after Titan. But with dwindling gas and broken blades, she was physically and emotionally exhausted. As she prepared to face her inevitable end, a strange new Titan emerged from the alleyway. Unlike the others, this one was grotesque and uncoordinated, almost as if it were fighting blindly. To Mikasa and Armin's shock, this Titan began attacking other Titans. As the dust settled from the brutal fight, they realized with horror that this monstrous, raging Titan was Eren. He was alive, but trapped within this horrifying form, battling with primal instinct and no apparent control. Seizing the opportunity presented by Eren's unintentional clearing of Titans, Armin and Mikasa made their way towards headquarters, where they found other survivors equally shocked by Eren's transformation. Armin, despite his own fears and self-doubt, stepped up as a leader, his analytical mind working frantically to devise a plan. They faced a crucial challenge, a supply depot overrun by Titans. With limited resources and dwindling morale, Armin formulated a daring plan inspired by Eren's past ideas. They would use a lift to descend into the depot and create a distraction with gunfire, allowing Mikasa to take down the Titans with her exceptional skills. The plan was risky, but it worked. They secured the depot, providing a temporary safe haven and much-needed supplies. Back at headquarters, Eren, now human but with no memory of his transformation, faced hostility and suspicion. The garrison soldiers, terrified by his newfound ability, saw him as a monster and prepared to execute him. Armin desperately tried to convince them that Eren could be a weapon against the Titans, while Mikasa stood ready to defend him with her life. In the midst of this standoff, Eren experienced a flashback of his father, urging him to remember a key and to reclaim Wall Maria. This triggered another transformation, and his Titan form burst from the building. The soldiers were stunned as Eren's Titan stumbled around, unknowingly swatting away the cannons aimed at him. Inside the Titan's fleshy form, Eren, Armin, and Mikasa were trapped, surrounded by sweltering muscle and bone. Just as the garrison was about to resume their attack, Commander Pixis arrived. Pixis, an eccentric but brilliant strategist, saw potential in Eren's power. He listened to Armin's desperate plan to use Eren's Titan form to seal the hole in Walrose with a massive boulder. It was a long shot, but Pixis, ever the gambler, decided to give them a chance. With Pixis's approval, the operation began. Eren, accompanied by a squad of soldiers including Mikasa and Armin, raced towards the breached gate. He transformed into his Titan form and with a surge of strength, lifted the massive boulder. The soldiers cheered as Eren lumbered towards the gate, carrying humanity's hopes on his shoulders. But as he approached the gate, a horde of Titans converged, threatening to overwhelm them. Despite Mikasa's valiant efforts to protect Eren, he lost his focus, and the boulder slipped from his grasp. The operation, it seemed, had failed. The failure to secure the boulder cast a pall of despair over the operation. Eren, trapped within his Titan form, grappled with a surge of self-loathing. He felt the weight of their expectations, the hope that he carried, crashing down around him. Inside the Titan's steaming core, Armin and Mikasa tried to rally him, reminding him of their shared dream, of their determination to survive. Meanwhile, the soldiers outside fought bravely, but they were losing ground. Just when all hope seemed lost, Ian Dietrich, a seasoned soldier, made a courageous decision. He charged towards a group of Titans, drawing their attention away from Eren. "Do it, Eren!" he yelled, sacrificing himself to buy Eren a precious few seconds. Inspired by Ian's sacrifice and fueled by his own burning desire to protect his friends, Eren roared back to life. He regained his focus, his Titan form surging with renewed power. With a mighty heave, he lifted the boulder once more, this time with unwavering determination. He lumbered towards the gate, pushing past the remaining Titans. As he reached the gate, he slammed the boulder into the breach, sealing the hole and cutting off the flow of Titans. The soldiers erupted in cheers, their exhaustion giving way to relief and jubilation. Eren had done it. He had sealed the wall. But their victory was short-lived. Eren, exhausted from the ordeal, collapsed in his Titan form, his body steaming. The soldiers rushed to extract him from the Titan's nape, finding him unconscious and severely weakened. He was hailed as a hero, his name whispered with awe and gratitude, but the battle for Trost District was far from over. Back at headquarters, the soldiers, including Jean, were in awe of Eren's accomplishment. They had witnessed his raw power, his determination, his potential to change the tide of the war. Even those who had doubted him were forced to acknowledge his strength. As Eren recovered, he was approached by a young woman with striking blonde hair and unsettlingly calm demeanor. This was Krista Lenz, a fellow recruit who had displayed unusual kindness and empathy during the battle. She expressed her gratitude to Eren, her words carrying a strange weight. Meanwhile, Armin, reflecting on the events of the day, realized that Eren's ability to control his Titan form might be connected to his strong emotions. He theorized that Eren's rage, his desire to protect his friends, and his memories of his father's words might be the key to unlocking his power. As the sun set on Trost District, the soldiers prepared for the next phase of their mission, clearing the remaining Titans from the city and reclaiming their home. Eren, despite his exhaustion and injuries, was determined to fight alongside them. He had tasted victory, and he was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The battle for Trost District continued, pushing the recruits to their limits. During a training exercise with their vertical maneuvering equipment, Armin observed his comrades, each with their unique strengths and weaknesses. Annie Leonhardt, a quiet and aloof girl, possessed incredible precision with her blades, while Reiner Braun had both strength and strategic thinking. Jean Kirstein, though often abrasive, demonstrated a keen understanding of tactics. Armin, however, felt overwhelmed, questioning his own value in the face of such skilled individuals. He confessed to his friends his anxieties, admitting, "I'm not brave in the least." In a quiet moment after training, Jean and Armin stumbled upon a gruesome scene. Marco Bott, a kind and optimistic recruit, lay dead in the street, his body mangled and his maneuver gear missing. The sight shook them to the core, a stark reminder of the brutality of their world. 2 days later, as they recovered bodies from the battlefield, the grim reality of their losses set in. The recruits, exhausted and demoralized, struggled to cope with the trauma. Armin, haunted by Marco's death and his own fear, found himself questioning the purpose of their fight. He lamented his weakness, confessing to Jean, "I don't need you to tell me that, asshole, that you're going to give up working on ways to fight them." Jean, in a surprising display of empathy, recognized Armin's fear, but also his unique strength. "You're also good at recognizing what's going on at any given moment." He reminded Armin that even the strongest soldiers need a strategic mind to guide them. This conversation sparked a change within Armin. He realized that his ability to analyze and strategize was a valuable asset, a way to contribute even without exceptional physical strength. As the day of the disbanding ceremony arrived, the recruits gathered, their faces etched with a mix of apprehension and anticipation. They were about to choose their paths: garrison, survey corps, or military police. Armin, having found new resolve, made a decision that shocked his friends. He would join the survey corps, facing the Titans head-on alongside Eren and Mikasa. The cannons continued to fire throughout the day, targeting the remaining Titans within Trost District. After 3 days, Eren finally awoke from his coma, finding himself in a dungeon under the custody of the military police. He was interrogated by 2 officials who questioned his intentions and his connection to the Titans. Eren, still piecing together his fragmented memories, revealed his father's words about a key and a basement holding the secrets of the Titans. This revelation, however, only deepened the officials' suspicions. "The key to freeing the human race from this despair, your answer will be the key," one of the officials declared, his eyes fixed on Eren. Eren, driven by his burning desire to avenge his mother and protect his friends, declared his intention: "I just want to enter the survey corps and kill Titans." His words surprised the officials, who saw potential in his unwavering resolve. They decided to give him a chance, placing him under the command of Captain Levi, a formidable and enigmatic soldier. Eren's fate, and the fate of humanity, now rested on his ability to control his Titan power and uncover the secrets hidden within the basement of his childhood home. If you enjoyed this book breakdown, please consider liking this video and subscribing to get notified when we post our next breakdown.